Everyone, welcome to the April 12th Newmarket Planning Board meeting. First item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And thank you, Scott. Next up, before we get to Agenda 2, I would like to welcome our new member, Patrick Reynolds.
Thank you.
Appreciate your willingness to serve, and congratulations on your election. I'd also like to congratulate Eric Boderman for his re-election to the board. He cannot be with us tonight, so he is excused. And then I am very happy to introduce and welcome our new Director of Planning Community Development, Bart Mcdonough. Would you like to say a few words?
I'm looking forward to working with the board and the town, and this is a very exciting opportunity, and just happy to get to work and move forward.
Great. Well, thank you. Look forward to working with you. Next, any comments from the public of anything that is not on the agenda this evening? This is just for public comments session. Hearing none, I'll close the public comments section of the meeting. Next would be the review and approval of minutes of the Tuesday, March 15th meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for the March 15th planning board meeting.
Motion by Jeff. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jane. Any discussion? Any additions, edits, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Motion carries. Patrick abstains. Okay. Next, actually, I'm going to move this agenda item for our organizational meeting to the end. Under regular business, the first is a site plan and special use permit for the mixed-use development. It's a request for the 6-month extension of the conditional approval of October 7th, 2021. Requested by Mr. Walter Cheney Jr., Cheney Property Management Corporation. And this pertains to the lot located at 50-56 Exeter Road, tax map U4, lots 11 and 15 in the M2A zone. Mr. Cheney, Mr. Siebert, who's presenting?
Recuse myself from this
Okay.
discussion.
Jeff is recusing himself.
Good evening. I'm
Good
Mike
evening.
Sievert with Horizons Engineering across the street. I'm here with Walter this evening, and we need to request this extension because we do not have the NHDOT entrance permit yet. We've submitted it on July 16th of 2021, and I still don't have it today. And it's unfortunate. They're saying that the reason they can't issue it is because they're in negotiations with the town about a crosswalk out there, which doesn't seem like it really has anything to do with us, although obviously there's more people living at that place, so it would be a benefit, but we don't have it, and that's why we're here. I have all the emails of, we've been reaching out to him since July, him being Jim Hewitt at District 6. And the last email was March 30th, and I don't have any response from then, but the prior email back in February said that he doesn't see any problems with our design, but they're just holding off because of the negotiations with the crosswalk.
So are you in communication with Public Works or
I'm not.
the town manager?
I have not been, no.
So no update as to where that stands?
No. I mean, I've been reaching out to DOT, but not to them. Yeah.
Well, I can look into that.
Great.
We have a staff meeting tomorrow, so I can get an
okay.
update and report back to you.
Thanks.
Yeah, that'd be great, because this was brought to my attention a couple months ago now. By
Yeah, we
Diane.
have everything else. We have the sewer discharge permit. We have the Mylars for the lot line revision. I mean, the lot consolidation. We have everything. We're ready to go.
So has no activity started because that was a condition of the approval?
It is a condition, yes. All the permits, like,
All state permits.
so it's we have conditional approval still. So we don't have the conditions. I mean, really, the conditions are a minor change on 2 of the comments from Underwood, which I've already done. The lot consolidation plan and Mylar, and resubmitting that to finalize that. The NHDOT permit and the sewer connection permit. And I have the sewer connection permit. I've had that since October.
So the only thing outstanding is DOT, the lot merger plan.
And I have the lot merger plan on my desk, the Mylar ready to come up here and be signed, but I didn't want to submit that to try, you know what I mean? So I was just going to put everything in at once and finalize that. But I mean, we're ready to go with that. Yeah.
So you'll follow up on that part?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unfortunately, I think we should probably try to get 6 months. I hope we only need 30 days, but.
Well, my question was more geared towards, is there a reason you can't start any site improvements at this point in time? Is it because we put a condition on approval of receiving all state permits?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm even requesting, I mean, I have an email from Mr. Hewitt at the District 6 saying, I mean, I have it here with me, but it basically says we don't have any issues with your design and your traffic. So we don't foresee a problem with issuing your permit, but we're in negotiations with the town about a crosswalk location.
Yeah,
so I
so
don't know if.
To make the board aware, if you go down Exeter Road, you'll see where the existing crosswalk is, and the state wants to relocate that crosswalk. To in front of your development, I believe. Doesn't make sense to me why they would relocate it, but.
So they were talking about trying to move it down towards the railroad tracks,
Right.
and I don't think
Doesn't make
that's
sense.
going to happen. So I don't know if it'll be. And I guess that's a good question. Are they? I don't know if they're going to move it or add another one or not. I mean, those would be pretty close together, but.
I think they want to move it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change your design plan for a step off from the sidewalk?
No, I have a tip down at the corners.
And that's where they want to put it.
So,
Okay.
I mean, I'm still tipping down to walk across. So, I suppose if they put one on the corner, one of the corners, I mean, we might have to tip down another corner to go across 108.
Okay.
But then they'd have to reconstruct the sidewalk on the other side too. I mean, that would be a DOT.
Right.
At that point, that's all out within the right of way.
Okay, but you'll amend a final plan if that's required.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Can I have a motion to grant the 6-month extension as requested by the applicant based upon the conditions as submitted?
I'll make a motion that we extend it 6 months.
Thank you, Patrick. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jane. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Next on the agenda is the Seacoast Pool Plastering LLC, Robert McGinnis. This is a continuation of a public hearing for an application for site plan. We've already granted the special use permit. To permit the proposed construction of a 6,000, this is not correct. This actual application has been revised, so it's to permit the proposed construction of a 2,000 square foot storage shed, approximately 84,000 square feet of gravel parking for storage of truck trailers, containers, and equipment, and the associated access and stormwater management infrastructure in regards to the property located at tax map R6, lots 50-7 and 50-8 in the B3 zone. The applicant is here. Morning.
John Gordon from Time Bond, representing the applicant. Thank you. We were here last month and we were granted the special use permit. We were also granted 6 of the 7 waivers. One of the waivers did not pass, it was denied, and that was the tree counting. Based on our disturbance, we were required to count at least 380 remaining trees on site. We worked with Peter Rowell from the town to coordinate our approach. He went out there during the time we were out there visiting, but she was so far out back in the woods, they missed each other. But she had a grid approach that she went out there, and we're estimating 807 trees were counted. So we've withdrawn that waiver, and we believe we're ready for conditional approval.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone get the memos and the new plan on the confirmation of that? Okay. On the last plan set that was submitted March 2nd, we had discussed adding a silt sock at the buffer boundary, and I noticed that you did add them, except I don't see it on the east wetland. That's the one in the top. I don't see that on the plan.
Which sheet are you on?
And that's going to be... So you could look at C-103. It will show there as well.
That's all higher. The wetland right there is higher than the ground, so typically we don't put it, if we're disturbing below an area, we don't put it up above. If you want it just to help delineate, we can certainly add it.
Oh, so, okay, you're at 1. And then we had also discussed having a notation, and maybe I just didn't see it here, about flagging the no disturbance areas. Did that note get added? You say note 13. Okay, you have it under grading and drainage. Okay.
Yes, you see that note
Perfect,
13?
thank you.
Okay.
Those, so is your intention that all of the, usually we just record the site plan. So can you just add those notes on the site plan
We can.
on C-102 so that they match? Any other questions from the board to the applicant? I'll open up the public hearing. Is there anyone here from the public that wishes to speak in regards to this application? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. So at this point, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the site plan for Seacoast Pool Plastering LLC, Robert McGinnis, on tax map R6, lots 50-7 and 50-8 in the B3 zone, to permit the proposed construction of a 2,000 square foot storage shed, approximately 84,000 square feet of gravel parking for storage of truck trailers, containers and equipment, and associated access and stormwater management infrastructure as proposed, subject to the following conditions. 1, the 2 existing lots will be merged and access will be from an existing paved driveway off Route 152, Wadley Falls Road. Number 2, the town's engineer's final review and approval of any outstanding items previously submitted to the applicant. Number 3, the site shall be limited to the proposed uses under the revised site plan, being for the storage of materials and equipment. Any changes beyond the proposed uses outlined in this revised application shall require further review and approval by the planning board. 4, submission of an operation and maintenance plan satisfactory to the town engineer, which will address any increase in traffic causing sediment runoff into the rain garden. And 5, the execution of a developer's agreement with the town of Newmarket and payment of any bonding requirements for restoration of temporary impacts. And number 6, the payment of any applicable impact fees. I would also suggest the motion include phase 1 under vesting under RSA 674-39, phase 1 to be completed within 1 year from recording of the final site plan, including the stabilization of slopes for phase 2, and that phase 2 be completed within 1 year from the start of construction, and that start date to be no later than 24 months from completion of phase 1. Would anyone like to make that motion?
Sorry, Val, you said 24 months, is that right?
For vesting, yeah. 24
Okay.
months from completion of
Phase
phase 1.
one, okay.
So phase 1 within 12 months. So in effect, phase 2 would be completed within 3 years for vesting. Jane, would you like to move that motion?
Yes, please.
Okay, motion by Jane. Do I have a second? Scott?
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion? Any questions from the applicant? Thank you. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Patrick, are you abstaining?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna abstain.
Okay.
I just don't know enough at this point.
Okay, motion passes. You're welcome. And I know you're still coordinating with the code enforcement officer on activities out there. Appreciate your cooperation there. Next on the agenda is, this is in regards to public hearings in accordance with RSA 231, :158 for tree pruning and clearing on the town of Newmarket scenic roads by Eversource Energy. Public hearing is scheduled, that was already scheduled last March, the 15th of last month. And the proposed activity will include, but not be limited to, tree cutting, trimming, and removal of brush and trees. All proposed activity and criteria for action by the applicants will be presented and reviewed at this public hearing. Sue needs to update these.
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome back.
It's good seeing Madam Vice Chair, all the members of the board, and let me add my congratulations to Mr. Reynolds and Mr. Mcdonough on their new positions. My name's Terry Cooper. I'm a work planner. I work with Eversource, the arborist Eversource, and Asplin Tree. It's my job to go out in the little white truck and assess the trimming conditions and the tree removal conditions on roads, especially scenic roads. That's one of my main focuses. So I've been the one that's been running around putting the tags on the trees, talking with the customers, and I'm the one that produced the list that was presented to you. If I could, I would like to enter into the record our standard operating procedures for trimming around Eversource power lines. Eversource specifications call for the removal of brush and limbs which are located within 8 feet to the side, 10 feet below, and 15 feet above conductors. Trees which present a threat to Eversource lines or other equipment because of decay or other defect will be removed on a case-by-case basis. All work will be performed in accordance with accepted arboricultural standards. Eversource has contracted with Asplin Tree Expert to perform the actual clearing of trees. Eversource requires that our clearing contractor contact each landowner where trees are to be trimmed or removed prior to the commencement of work on that property. Individual concerns will be addressed at that time. All brush and limbs cut on roadside locations will be chipped. In wooded, undeveloped locations, these chips may be dispersed into the woods, taking care not to allow chips to accumulate in piles or in ditches, I'd like to add, or on stone walls. We are very aware about how the stone walls are and how we're not going to put any chips on that, and our drivers are very aware as well. Near developed land, the chips will be blown into a truck and disposed of off-site. The chips make good mulch and are often given to nearby property owners for landscaping purposes. If a central dumping location could be arranged, Eversource would be happy to make any unclaimed chips available to the town at no cost. Brush and limbs cut on inaccessible lines will be stacked to the side of the right-of-way and cut low to the ground. All wood would be left on site unless otherwise directed by the landowner. Again, on a case-by-case basis as far as wood removal. Was there any additional questions from the last?
Any questions from the board? I'll just report that we did hear back from Public Works Director Rick Malasky. He had no issues. We also put it out there as far as the availability of any wood chips, and they were to contact Eversource on that.
I have touched base with Mr. Malasky, I think,
Okay,
twice
great.
since our last meeting
Okay.
on unrelated issues.
This is actually just a public hearing. It's not that we give approval or anything for cutting. And there's no members of the public wishing to speak or ask questions. I'll close the public hearing. I think that's all you need from us.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you.
And again,
Thank you.
congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your attention.
Excuse me. I'm trying to get, can we get a copy of that?
Oh, sure. Sure, I'll run another one off to myself, you can have that one.
Okay, so circling back, operational meeting, election of the chair and vice chair. I'll make a motion to elect Eric Bodeman as chair.
Second.
He's not here.
And I'll make a motion that Al's the vice chair.
We want to vote on that motion. There's a second?
Jump up.
Any discussion on Eric Bodeman, the motion for Eric Bodeman to be chair? None, all those in favor?
Aye.
Nomination, election for vice chair.
Nominate Val.
Second?
Okay, any discussion?
Thank you.
I'll abstain. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And Mikal, I'm sorry, I would have put this up further. I didn't actually see you in the audience. So we have to reappoint Mikal Zahorik as an alternate. His term expired the end of March. You went and filed the appropriate applications, I believe. So at this time, I would like to hear a motion to appoint Mikal Zahorik as an alternate for the planning board for a 3-year term. Was that what you applied for? Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve Mikhail as our alternate. Do we have more than one alternate?
Well, we need, 2 more. So
Two more.
expiring March 2025. Was that probably your application? That would be 3 years. Okay.
December 31st.
March.
March.
Yep.
Okay.
They go through the end of the
Oh, town.
the town
Gotcha.
meeting.
Yep.
Okay, that was the motion.
That's
Is there a
Second.
second? Jane, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Not, motion
I
unanimously
consider
carries.
here.
And I apologize, I would have had you sit in on the, for Eric on that other, application.
We have the sign already for you.
My fault.
You can come to the dais if you want.
Yeah, come on up, you're official now. Oh, right, thank you for keeping me on track. Old new business, we still have before us the Brentwood Regional Notice for their age-restricted development, 75 single-family detached dwelling condos with associated drainage, roads, utilities, other amenities. I kind of pushed this to this month's meeting so people could have a chance to just look that over and review it. I don't know if anybody had any questions or concerns or wanted Newmarket to provide any input to the Brentwood Planning Board on that. I didn't
And is
see
that what is that because it falls in why is our
They're determining it's a regional impact for potential traffic. As
traffic.
yeah,
It's on 125.
yeah, and also because of the development is on the Exeter River, so if there are any overflow impacts to waterways, water quality issues.
Oh, okay. Even though we're not in the Exeter River watershed.
Exactly.
Okay. Is this the one at Three Ponds?
No, I think this is a totally new one.
This is a totally new
Yeah.
one.
That is,
This is a 55 plus.
that's the proposal.
Isn't that
Yeah,
what it is?
exactly.
I heard about it. I just
Yeah, you should have gotten something on the Conservation Commission.
yeah.
You should have had the same notice. If this is for 41A Mill Road, it's a foul zone project. Okay, so nothing to report on that. Chairman's report. Just want to welcome the new planner. Look forward to working with Bart. We had a brief discussion today, and I think Eric will have more details. We can start to think about priorities that we want to see as the planning board and focus on. Bart and I talked a little bit about updating the planning board procedures and policies, just administrative functions of the board. That's something that hasn't been done anytime during my service, which has been over 12 years now. So I think that would be a good place to start, and anything new that you can bring to this board would be great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And maybe at the next meeting we have that discussion and priority list, full board. Just what the board would like to achieve in this year, next year, kind of forecast out. So
We definitely need to revisit the master plan chapters and which ones that we do want to remove, which ones we want to prioritize. We have outstanding issues relative to outreach from the town council as to looking into housing, accessory apartments, etc. So we should be following up on that. I don't know what the council's.
Well, they're waiting for a report from the planning board.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we should be getting back to that.
I mean, you and Diane were working on that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I assume now you and Bart will be working on it.
And That will move us into committee reports.
So
Council?
Neil Mill Road, as you know, is has not gotten anywhere because Steve wanted to talk to the town attorney to see if there are any legal issues, and
As a reclassification to a trail?
right.
Yep.
Yeah, and he promises now that the next meeting, which is tomorrow, he will actually do it.
Okay.
It's only been 6 months, and he had to just pick up the phone and call an attorney, you know, but
But what do you mean by do it? Just talk about it at the meeting?
that he would call the attorney and
Oh,
see.
okay. He's gonna say at the next meeting that he's going to.
Yeah, so that's tomorrow, right? So hopefully it'll actually happen, and then we can vote on it, unless there's some issue, right?
Well, you have your public hearings, but it's to
Yeah, that's what I mean.
reclassify it to a
No.
Class A trail, right?
No, I understand that.
But all the
I
abutting
just-
people are the ones asking for it, so.
Yeah, I think it's just your process, right? That it has
Yeah.
to go through public hearing, that's the
So he
RSA.
didn't know what the process was, so hopefully we'll now have once we have the process, we can
As if he
vote
wants to
on it.
borrow my book.
Yeah.
Are they gonna do the other Old Lee as well? That's Old Lee right there in Neil Mill?
Right, we're just trying to get the Neil Mill Road thing done. We've been working on this for 6 months, and it's
I'm
just-
not sure Old Lee is classified as a town road. I don't know about that. The Conservation Commission might know better. But if it is,
That's a
and
good
if it hasn't
question
been
to ask.
classified,
That
I
should
would
be-
definitely.
So there's a road
include
called
that.
Neil Mill Road, and it's a class 5 road, I
Six.
think.
Six.
No, well, when you get on it, it's a class 5, and
Oh.
then it
Sure.
well, or maybe even a 4, but it quickly degenerates
Class
into a
five.
5, and then there's a gate, and then beyond the gate is a dirt road with grass growing in the middle, right? It's a class 6 road, right? And there was a lot of stuff going on that you'll read about, and we want to convert that into a Class A trail. That road goes off into the neighboring town called Newfield, and Newfield's already taken their end and made it a Class A trail.
And it's part of the green,
The Cassock Greenway.
thank you.
Yeah.
And there is one junction on the road with this road that we're talking about called Old Lee Road, which is past the gate. It's probably like 25 yards. Would you
Mhm.
say, Jeff?
Yeah.
And so the same thing. Newfields took their end of that road and made it a Class A trail. So maybe we need to do the same with that section of Old Lee Road that is in Newmarket. That's
It's
a good-
interesting, if you have a road, but you can only get to it through a Class A trail.
It is probably not accessible, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it
just
may
think
be
the
a-
attorney should
Whoa.
clean up the whole thing
Yeah.
I
and
would think
have it
legal-
all consistent.
I would think if it is a Class 6 road, that legally it would be difficult to change the only connecting road into a Class A trail without changing it into a Class A.
Yeah,
road.
it's a good point. I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
If it's that's a good question though. If it is a town road.
Yeah, you'd have to find
Class
out,
6
because it
road
may not be a public right of way through from the
anymore,
bridge.
they
Yeah.
would have had to discontinue it. Yeah,
But
you're
then it
right.
would no longer be accessible from a road, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
Build
Which
it.
means, yeah, that you'd probably have to continue to give access to it. So that's why I think Jeff's right. We need to clear that
Yeah.
issue up. Otherwise, people could potentially say, I have a right to drive my vehicle over to that road.
Yeah.
So,
And then we had asked for a change in the impact fee organization. A proposal has been made. Steve looked at it and rejected it. He thinks that we will have something by the end of May, early June.
To change the impact fee for water and sewer to betterment fees.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's, so Eric will now get a call from Tony to set up a joint meeting between the planning
Good.
board and the town council. And then the town is looking at, I don't know what the name of the road is, but if you're coming in the town in Exeter, just past the Sinclair station, you turn left up to Giuseppe's.
New road.
That's called New Road, okay. So they're looking at changing that intersection.
Wow.
And apparently people, I turn there all the time. That's how I go home.
Are you talking about Jerry
I think
Ave?
you're talking about Jerry
Oh.
Ave,
You're
yeah.
talking about Jerry Ave. That would lead
This
That
end?
comes up
just right
here.
up over here, right?
Yeah.
Or the-
Yeah, that's Jerry Ave.
Yeah.
Directly across from the town hall going down to Exeter Road.
Yeah.
Down
Right.
to
That's
the-
Jerry Ave.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's the road.
Geppetto's,
No.
yeah,
At
goes
that
right by
intersection where you turn, where
Okay.
you
It wouldn't wait.
mostly their concern is going from 108 up to Jerry Road, right? Not going from Jerry Road onto 108.
So how are they proposing people are gonna come into town this way?
They're doing an evaluation, and they will, when they get something more, they will come to the planning board.
Like a turning lane? There is one.
I guess
There is one.
they're
There
looking
is, yeah.
for proposals. This is very elementary. He just said that the town is starting to look at this.
Hmm.
That apparently
Interesting.
people have been concerned
Do
about.
we still have a traffic committee in town?
It's a good question, I don't know.
Yeah, because that would mean that if you were coming this way, you would have had to have turned earlier. Like, so if you were cutting through to get to like 152,
Yeah, and you're gonna go up and pull, and then try to make that U-turn, which you're not supposed to, by Riverworks? I mean,
Right.
that would make no sense. No one's
Yeah.
gonna go all the way down to the library, then come around,
They shouldn't.
Elm, Packers Falls Road to go.
Well,
you'd
they're
have to go
talking-
to Ash Swamp or something like that.
You know the
certainly
house
there.
that has all the awnings on it in the summertime? No. So
House with all the
at that intersection where you're on Exeter Road and you're turning left onto Jerry Road,
Right.
if you look straight ahead, there's a big white house. Okay, there is one. There's a
Okay.
house
Is it on the
set back.
corner there?
And, yeah, and they're talking about taking some of the land there and widening that section
Yeah.
out.
That's what I was gonna say. I was
Oh,
gonna
the
say,
old Priest
It's a
property.
little narrow, and that's
It's
on
a
the
big,
bend.
it's a big lawn area.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the,
So if
Priest
they move the
property.
intersection, they could tee.
In the
it.
summer, it has these big striped
Okay.
awnings. It looks really nice.
I can see it.
I don't know why.
So,
I
so
only
they
think it
would.
depends on the weather.
Okay. I guess I'd have to see it to understand why you're making it one way and widening it.
I didn't say one way.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, not one way, just widening it.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense, because it's really tight, and there's a car in the turning lane, and you're trying to go by, especially
Mhm.
if it's a sizable truck.
Yeah.
Well, the concern was if you're turning left there, you're in that little turning lane, it's hard to see oncoming traffic.
If you're from Jerry Road going to 108.
No, if
No,
you're on
on your
108 going to
Exeter Road.
Jerry.
Yeah.
If you're on Exeter,
into
turning
town.
left up to Jerry.
You can't see oncoming traffic.
I do it all the
Well,
time.
what
I-
happens is people pass on the right, right, because
Yeah.
the guy's
Yeah,
turning
it's not-
left, and then you really don't. It's
Isn't there a
not-
turning lane there already though?
Yeah, there is a
It's-
turning lane there.
There
It's a
is.
tough
It's
intersection.
tight, yeah.
No, it's good they're looking at it.
If it was like 2
Guess it
feet
depends
wider,
on the
the curb
type
was
of
like
vehicle,
2 feet
too.
over, it'd be like.
Well, yeah, and because DOT will be all over that anyway. It's
Yeah.
a state,
So
it's a
anyway,
state road.
they're looking at it and they will come to the planning board at some point to tell you what they're talking about.
What if it's on their 10-year plan?
Yeah.
That's it.
Any other committee reports?
A few things from conservation, just wanna
Great,
throw out
yeah.
quick. The Earth Week cleanup is coming up, if people are interested. It's a little bit late, but they can still get in on it if they contact Melissa Berlin, I believe.
Is it on the website?
I don't know.
Might be on the Facebook page,
Facebook, yeah, definitely.
right?
And that goes from the 16th to the 24th.
Is that the Concom's Facebook page? Conservation Commission
Yes.
has a Facebook page?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
And first, they do have also a blue bag available if people are doing it.
And that's like roadside cleanup?
Yep, roadside
Okay.
cleanup
Like you
throughout
can
town.
sign up for a street.
Yeah.
All right.
Same as
Well,
last. Yeah. Same as
Hopefully
previous
Channel
years.
13's working and the public heard all that.
That's right.
Sign up for roadside cleanup. Get your
Exactly.
bags.
Real quick, another thing is they're having a guest speaker this week from Pollinator Pathways, New Hampshire. Talk about pollinators and whatnot. Also, just speaking of Neal Mill Road, Dwayne Hyde will be to present, I believe, the Gaziano tract deed
Oh, great.
out on Neal Mill Road.
Oh, cool.
And I just want to throw out to the Conservation Commission that they do a tremendous amount of work in town, and it's
Thank you.
amazing how active that board is.
Yeah.
And how many things that they're up to, and they've been doing a bunch of work at Heron Point lately, and yeah.
Good. And you might want a tour of all these places.
Absolutely.
I'm sure someone on the Conservation Commission would love to
Your
do that.
meeting's this Thursday? Do you have a meeting this Thursday?
Thursdays.
Jeff's the
On
representative.
the plan
Come
board.
by.
Former
Stop by, say hello.
member.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
The former chairman.
Yeah. Yeah, I know Ellen, she staffs the Conservation Commission in Durham when I was there, so,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it'd be good to see her again.
Yeah.
Yes. Sounds good.
Yes.
Is she the new chairman now, or they haven't elected?
I
yet?
think they have election, right?
Elections
Yeah,
this week.
elections.
This week, yeah, or all the organizational meetings.
Yeah.
Jane, what committee are you on now?
I'll do, capital investment, but so nothing going on.
Nothing's going on now, okay. So the next meeting too, we should make renew committee appointments.
One thing I didn't hear you mention that we've been working on was the stormwater.
And that was, did Steve talk to you at all about that?
Briefly, so, again, I have a meeting
Get you
tomorrow
up to
with
speed.
department heads, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll meet all the people, relevant people. for
Yeah.
that.
That's a big
Yeah,
one.
we'll get that back on track.
Yeah, I was on that group that worked with Kyle Pimentel
Mhm.
on that for months.
He's on my list too, the contact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of insight into
Yeah.
that stuff that we did on that.
This was the whole new proposal that Bill Cherry did with Diane Hardy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
okay.
was, he was part of that group,
Okay.
yep. It was Kyle, Bill, myself, and I think we had someone from the engineering group too, but they didn't attend very often.
So we'll want to get the latest proposals to Patrick so he can get up to speed on that.
Will do.
Thanks. Okay, any other new business or old business? Wow, record times here. Hearing none, can I have a
Do have
Oh,
one letter.
oh.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry,
Yeah,
planners
sorry
report.
about that. Town council and plan boards from the Historical Society. Long and the short is they're looking to, requesting the plan board revisiting design guidelines within the overlay district. Their concern is, since there's a lot of development happening, that these old, these houses, these historical houses might be changed, and they want to preserve some of the architecture that exists. So, I have the letter here. I can email it to everyone. I think maybe you and Eric might have gotten that.
Did
I'm
not.
not sure. Okay, yep. So I'll do that, so you all can read it over instead of me reading verbatim right now. And if maybe another discussion we can have during priority lists or just in general. Yeah.
Okay, so we can just take that up at the
Exactly.
next meeting?
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
There's a training opportunity, planning boards, board of adjustment training. The Office of Planning and Development always has every once in a while. I think the next one's April 30th. If you want to partake,
It's all online this year.
I believe it's in person this year. Yeah, it might be online too or
I
hybrid
think it
meeting.
was on, I think we could watch it afterwards, I
Yeah.
think was what I thought it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
You
I think it's
you-
in Concord.
I think you signed up for the Zoom link, and then, but they were recording everything, and you could watch.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that was a hybrid. To me, it seemed like it was in person, but maybe
Okay.
there is. If it is,
Yeah, let's check into that.
it is on a Saturday.
And
So-
well, there's actually 2 Saturdays.
right, but the other one's in May.
Okay.
Yep. So I think it's maybe the second week of May, first or second. Probably the
I
first.
think you're right. I think you can watch it later.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm. You probably watch on YouTube too. They've probably done it at some point. So, but you don't get that discussion.
Yeah.
You know, if you had questions,
Right.
that's the one thing.
Highly recommend
Mhm.
attending or reviewing them
Yeah.
after.
I'm gonna sign up for one. So, if
Okay.
anyone wants to do it with me. Yeah.
In that regard, if it is in person in Concord or wherever it is, the town will pay the fee for
Correct.
the attendance fee, and I think they also reimburse for mileage.
I can look into that, but that sounds right. That's all I have right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other business? Hearing none. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? None. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you very much.